Professor Morley, I'd like to begin by going back to you. You touched on something there at the end of your testimony that related to other terms in the NVRA that you have observed to be interpreted differently or inconsistently by the courts. Would you elaborate, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairwoman. So the terms, the NVRA and HAVA in various places require uniform and non-discriminatory treatment of voters, but have left those two key terms, uniform and non-discriminatory, undefined. There have been cases in which election officials have received information about particular voters, suggesting either they were ineligible or there was some other concern with regard to a particular group of voters, and subjected them to additional information requests, attempting to confirm their eligibility. And this was held to violate the uniform and non-discriminatory requirements in HAVA and the NVRA because certain voters were being asked for information or certain voters were being subjected to additional procedures to confirm their eligibility rather than all voters, and so they were enjoined. And so in part I suggest that the term uniform specify that similarly situated voters need to be treated similarly, but nothing in the statute is meant to preclude election officials from confirming the eligibility of a particular voter or particular voters if there's reason to believe that there might be a concern about their status. And likewise, the term non-discriminatory, in order to be given an independent definition, an independent meaning, not just being redundant, should be defined in terms of the Constitution's prohibitions on discrimination against various groups of voters, the 15th Amendment, the 19th Amendment, et cetera. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Morley. And Mr. Braden, I'd like to go back to something you touched on during your testimony as well, and it was the notion that now as mail voting and voting by mail becomes more and more common, that the quality and accuracy of lists is all the more important. Would you please elaborate on the points you were making during that part of your testimony and why in today's date that the accuracy of those lists is so important?
Well, mail voting is pieces of mail go out to lists. If the list isn't any good, the people being asked to vote or trying to vote by mail will be bad. It's not more complicated than that. We have mail voting is definitely more dangerous process for the security of the ballot process than in-person voting. There's just no question about that, because you don't have the secrecy of the ballot. You don't have a polling place where you can be sure there isn't undue influence or there isn't coercion. So by voting for mail, we get rid of those safeguards. Then we're dependent upon the U.S. mail. State of California sends out millions of ballots. What percentage of first-class mail doesn't get delivered or doesn't get delivered timely? I've had a difficult time figuring out what that number is. I've seen everything from 0.5% to 4%. What does that mean? That means tens of thousands of ballots in California sent hopefully to registered voters who are qualified to vote, won't make an appearance and won't get counted. That's a big problem. There is a reason why almost all the other Western-style democracies do not use mail voting. They only use mail voting for absentee. A mail voting system has problems. Now, the President of the United States issued an executive order attempting to ban mail voting. Didn't appear to me why he had authority to do that. I don't believe I can figure out where that authority is. I do think that authority resides here with the Congress and or with the state. But I'm realistic. I don't think you can politically make that happen as much as I would love it.
Thank you, Mr. Braden. Professor Morley, back to you. If you would tell us, you touched on the concept of the blackout period and ways in which you believe the blackout period could be improved. Would you specify what you think we could do as Congress to improve the clarity or process or timing of the blackout period?
Thank you very much. So one of the issues which I'd already raised is clarifying what does removal mean, right? The Congress's original goal was to prevent a voter from being removed from the list at the very last minute. They had no notice, they had no opportunity to prove their eligibility to vote. And so one potential issue is the current blackout period too long? Could the blackout currently, because it's based on each federal election, primary elections is treated as separate from the general elections, in every even-numbered year, 180 days of that year is a blackout period. It is literally illegal for election officials for half of the year, every federal election year, to engage in a program to confirm that their roles are
And thank you,
accurate.
Professor Morley.